bringing this debate before the House today. She's spoken in detail about the excellent work of UNHCR with regards to the resettlement of Syrian refugees and why the high-level meeting later this March on pathways for resettlement is important for refocusing states on both the short-term humanitarian needs of refugees as well as their long-term integration. It's also important to recognise, as has been mentioned by honourable members, the vital work of UNHCR on the work they're doing on the ground in Syria in an utterly chaotic and hugely distressing circumstances. They're doing all they can in these terrible conditions to ensure that victims of conflict have access to shelter, food and safety. Mr Crosbie, it is clear that a prominent topic at the upcoming meeting will be family reunification, and as my honourable friend for Rutherglen mentioned, it is estimated that 26,000 unaccompanied child refugees are currently in Europe. Our response as a country must be how much can we do to help instead of how little can we get away with doing. That is why I'm particularly proud that in Scotland, people, charities and government at every level are doing everything they can to make Syrian refugees feel as welcome as possible. Scotland has so far taken at least 400 refugees, with half of Scotland's local authorities having welcomed individuals and families to their areas. The first Syrian families offered asylum in the northeast of Scotland arrived on the 1st of this month. 10 families arrived, with more to follow this summer. My home local authority of Aberdeenshire has committed to sheltering 50 families. Aberdeenshire Council has been working with community groups, faith groups, credit unions and universities and colleges to ensure that these vulnerable people are able to transition and settle as smoothly as possible. The proudly international city of Aberdeen has committed to taking 5% of the 2,000 refugees coming to Scotland over the next 5 years. To further support refugees coming to Scotland, the Refugee Task Force, chaired by the Scottish Minister for International Development and Europe, is overseeing arrangements for the arrival of refugees. This includes immediate practical needs, such as arrangements for obtaining biometric residence permits and opening bank accounts, as well as longer-term issues to enable integration, such as the provision of English language support. The Scottish Government has also recently announced amendments to existing legislation so that Syrian refugees are able to benefit from student support in Scotland. I'm also proud to see that my former university, the University of Glasgow, as well as many other educational establishments in Scotland, are providing a variety of scholarships or fee waivers for Syrian refugees coming to Scotland. Asylum seekers are particularly vulnerable, and we must ensure that they are treated with dignity and respect at every stage of the asylum process. Mr Crosbie, what I've outlined demonstrates briefly how Scotland is a caring and compassionate country. We welcome people seeking refuge from war and persecution, and we recognise the importance of supporting them to rebuild their lives and integrate into our diverse communities. So I'm finished now.